When do I sign up for Medicare?
What do you mean when?
Yeah.
You're gonna know this.
I don't know this.
No, you have to know this. It's very important because a lot of people miss the window. Can't believe it. My name is Alejandra.
And my name is Amber.
And we are the founders of Legacy Ladies. And if you want the best advice in how to grow your legacy and protect it, subscribe and hit the notifications bell below so you can get notified when we upload new videos. Ta-da!
Something that we have been facing this year, a challenge that we've had in 2020, other than literally everything else in 2020, is that a lot of our clients that we have gotten this year, they didn't know when to sign up for Medicare and they missed their window. So we met them, just a handful of people, we met them when they were 66. And so,
or 67.
Yeah, or 67. And they didn't have Medicare. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the different times that you should get Medicare and the different situations of why you would delay getting Medicare and what you need to do for that. So there's no penalties. Because I don't know if you know this, but there are penalties that you pay for not getting Part B and Part D when Medicare thinks you're supposed to. And those penalties last for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And the first thing we're going to talk about this video is going to be the ICEP, which is the initial enrollment period of Medicare. And this happens when, Amber, because you know when. You know.
All right.
Okay.
So it's the 3 months before the month of your birthday, the month of your birthday, and the 3 months following. Something to keep in mind, if you're born on the 1st of the month, that means you get a month earlier. So you April's Fool's Days, people, I see you. You get Medicare early, congratulations. The other thing too is I know that you have the month of your birthday and the 3 months after, but please don't use them. If everything is planned out well, you'll use the 3 months before your birthday. That is just, there's no hiccups. It's smooth. It's good. The other thing, the last thing that you really need to pay attention to with this enrollment period is this is the time to get in without any health questions. Okay? And you don't want those.
Yeah. And then there is 7 months in that time period. So like she said, and I'm gonna repeat it so you don't forget, is 3 months before the month of, which is 4, and the 3 months after. That makes seven months for you to enroll. And in there, this is mostly for Medicare Advantage programs. You could enroll into Medicare for another 3 months after that, but only into supplements. So be very careful. You don't want to miss those. But the 3 months, first 3 months before your birthday, the month of, and the 3 months after.
The next time that you should sign up or enroll yourself into Medicare is when you're retiring. So if you're retiring at 66, 67, 70, I mean, if you don't want to retire at all, and you have coverage through your employer, this is going to be important. So what you want to do is
that's the key.
Yeah.
If
you have health insurance from your employer.
If you have, and it has to be comparable to Medicare. It cannot be that doesn't have drug programs or that is not comparable to Medicare. So you want to make sure that it is, because if not, then you're gonna have to pay the penalties, and we do not want that. Okay.
Your HR department will know, so just ask them. So, what's important though for this when you're retiring, if you're planning on working past age 65, go ahead and get Part A when you turn 65. Elect to get A, have A and your work insurance work together. Perfectly fine. Just don't get Part B or D. Just hang out with A. You have paid for it through your taxes and all your working years, and so you've earned it. So please take it. There's not a premium for A. There are out-of-pocket costs for A, but with that combined with your work insurance, you're gonna be fine. So when you retire, the month before you retire is when you really want to get the ball rolling. That's kind of the shortest window that I would recommend. So what's going to happen is, let's say you want to retire in April. I would sign up for Part B turn in the paperwork in March, beginning of March, if not end of February. So turn in the paperwork to Medicare to sign up for Part B, because you're going to have a letter from your HR saying that you've had comparable coverage, so please don't penalize me for Part B. So when you sign up for Part B, you're also going to be talking to a broker or some type of agent to get your paperwork in order, so that when your insurance ends in April or March, depending on when your company does it, at the last day of the month, that way there's no lapse in coverage. You're completely fine. So right when you leave work coverage, A and B will be effective, and your secondary insurance will be effective moving forward. That way you always have insurance, and it's okay if something happens to you. Please don't. But that way you're going to be okay, and that your bills will be covered.
Another very important thing is if you're taking Social Security when you are 65. Because when you're taking Social Security when you're 65, they're usually going to send you Part A and B already, because they
auto sign you out.
They do it automatically. But if you do not are taking Social Security, it is your duty to go into the Social Security website and sign up for Medicare when you are 65. If you do not have comparable coverage through work.
So if you have any questions about when to enroll for what we've talked about so far, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and we'll help demystify when you're supposed to enroll. The last time that you're supposed to enroll in Medicare is if you've been covered under a spouse's work coverage.
Yes.
So it's kind of similar to the one before, but this way you're getting covered by your spouse. Something that I would also caution you to is if you are covered by a spouse and you're past age 65, look at Medicare and see what it has to offer. You could be the expensive one on your spouse's policy. Some companies give spouses wonderful, wonderful rates, so it's not all the time, but look into it, because you could have better coverage at a cheaper rate on Medicare. But in case you decided to stay with your spouse's coverage, when your spouse decides to retire, you want to know again, and you do that whole month early. Sign up for Part B and get everything in place for your secondary coverage. That way when work coverage does end, no lapse in coverage, and you are good to go from there on out.
Another very important thing also for this is that if you have TRICARE, do not enroll in anything else. Not Advantage plans, not supplements. They're going to mess up your coverage. We have had this happen so many times, and so many people get concerned because the agent that they were working with, they didn't know. And TRICARE, if you did a service for this country, we thank you so much for your service. And we also let you know that if you have TRICARE for life, do not get anything else in the market.
We have found, I've had some clients that have had TRICARE for life, and then they bought a supplement. It won't mess anything up, it's just you're paying way too much because you don't need it. If you have signed up for an Advantage program, a lot of times it will cancel out your TRICARE, and it is very, very, very hard to fix. And TRICARE coverage is amazing, so please don't mess it up. If you do have questions about that, let us know too, okay? So again, to recap, you have your initial enrollment period, which is the 3 months before, the month of, and the 3 months after your birthday. You have when you retire, so get A early and then do everything before you retire, the month before you retire, or your spouse is retiring and you're covered under their insurance. Those are the major times you need to look out for when enrolling in Medicare. Please make sure you don't miss it. The other thing that I actually didn't talk about is the penalties.
Yes.
What are the penalties? Okay, so we want you to avoid them, but in case you're running into them, Part B is 10% per year that you didn't have B when Medicare thinks you were supposed to have it. D is 1% per month.
12% per year.
Yeah, quite a bit. And it goes off of the average cost, the national average cost of B and D. So please avoid that. We're not allowed to calculate it for you. We're just allowed to tell you what the math problem is. So
and also very important, because these specifically parts like Part B and Part D have different enrollment periods.
Yes.
So it's very important that you know that, because if you already passed those 7 months of enrollment, and you already are in your 66th year and you want to enroll because you don't have comparable coverage through work, then it's going to be very important that you know that you will have to wait for these enrollment periods to enter into Part B and Part D.
It's crazy. It's a lot of information. If you can't sleep, we do recommend you read the Medicare new book.
Yes.
Or if you have questions, just leave them in the comments below. Call us. Yeah, ask us.
Make a meeting with us.
Yeah.
We have 15-minute meetings. We have 30-minute meetings that we can answer all the questions that you may have.
Yeah, Medicare is confusing, so if we can help in any way, we will. Yes. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, please. It really helps us. And then also, don't forget, protect yourself and protect your legacy.